Okay, so hello, Stefan. Then let's begin. Let's have a look at last meeting minutes. So the bot users. I think, Dave, you have accepted all the org invitations.
Yes.
That should be fine. Okay. But we still need to hand over the credentials so that I can store them. And
right.
Okay, we can do this offline later, or you just post it in a private channel, and then I would.
Those we can't hand over the login credentials for the bots because they're secured by the email that they're tied to is like an old Pivotal email that only Dave has access to of all of us. And if we want to shift the bots over or create new bots, we're going to need a new email address to point them to.
Right. I remember we talked about it, and I should have asked Chris to get such an email address.
We have at least 2 G Cloud Google addresses for the deployment group, which are already used for something else. I think one is for the AWS account, and I don't know what the other one is for, but we have email addresses and we have access to them. One is for the Docker private repository account. So it's, don't know where I've stored them, somewhere in our vault. So we could use that, yeah, if possible.
Okay.
Okay, so then yes?
How do we access? Are those email addresses accessible by just you or by anyone with access to the G Cloud? I've never worked with G Cloud emails before.
So right now it's accessible. Yeah, I stored the secrets in our SAP vault. So the working group members which belong to SAP can see the emails. Yeah, it's still the problem that we don't have a good common vault for everyone. Yeah.
Do we have like a working group email alias that just goes to everybody? Because that's what the old Pivotal ones were. They're not actually separate email addresses, email accounts. They're just mailing lists that forward to everyone that was on the team. And so I have, I get those emails because I used to be on that team.
Yeah.
So if we had something that would just send an email to everyone that's in the working group, all of the approvers, then we'd all get the email, and then whoever was triggering it could then log in with the code.
Yeah, okay. No, we don't have that, and I must admit I don't know if it's possible. Would have to check if we can do the sign in.
I get the feeling that all of the working groups would appreciate something like that, because I'm sure everyone has bots that they have to interact with. Yeah. So that may be something to bring up with the TOC and say, hey, is this possible?
Can you open a ticket on the TOC project, on the community project to request that? And then I would hopefully this time not forget it to put it on the agenda for the next TOC meeting to come up with something. I mean, it makes definitely sense. It's also not a solution to store now some new credentials in an SAP vault instead of in VMware vault. Right. It's the same problem. I mean, we would need, let's say, could also use GitHub that we install as part of Concourse, something where everybody has access, or don't know what exists otherwise.
Yeah, we could abuse the Concourse GitHub. Yeah, okay, then we also have backup, and that could be an option, yes.
But you could describe the problem first of all, and then who knows, sometimes Ruben, for instance, has good ideas on such topics. I'm not the real expert in this infrastructure, but
so these are the mail accounts that we currently have: app deployments and deployments at Cloud Foundry org.
Okay. Yeah, in the ideal case is that everyone gets the emails so that we can all log in. I'm not like, I wouldn't be too upset if just you had access, but it's just not the most ideal case, but it might be a short-term fix. For the solution, I just don't know what these, I honestly don't know what these bots have permissions to, because they've been around for so long.
Yeah.
It might be better to create some new bots and start fresh. What, Dave, do you know if these bots are like
mainly
clean
used
enough
for creating the
hand
GitHub
around?
releases.
Yeah.
They're not used for direct access to the Git repositories. For that, we use several deployment keys. They're used for managing the GitHub releases.
Yeah, I would have hoped with the automation we have in place now that they'd have been removed. You know, any special access they were granted would have been removed. And it would all be defined.
There's one issue still with the automation. I mean, with the teams, etc., everything is fine, but users can still have how is it called, direct access to some repositories. And here Ruben is currently working on a script, if I remember correctly, to remove all those direct users on that have some rights, so that everything is only governed by the groups, and then we are clean.
Right.
For users. Deployment keys is a second issue, but we come to that, I guess, a bit later.
Yeah, makes sense.
Also with these bots, I mean, they may have access to pivotal internal repositories that I'm unaware of. That's a definite possibility, right, Dave?
I guess
Possibly,
theoretically, I don't think there should be anything still that they should have access to, though. I'm not sure.
I would hope not, but
Yeah.
I don't know for certain.
I mean, we can also decide to say we keep the bots as they are. We create a new bot with a new email address, etc. Once this is clarified, then we onboard this new bot, and then we try to get rid of the old bots. That's another, hopefully, more safe approach.
I tend to like that a little better, because then we can start from the ground up with some new bots, and we could start to use just the one bot everywhere instead of having like 3 bots spread all over different repositories.
Yeah, would make sense. Yeah, you see, we have here this old CF Git bot with admin permissions. And here
they should be removed, actually, all 3, and should get the rights only via the bots group. I think all of these bots are part of the bots group, but the CF Git bot would get then only write access and not admin access anymore, which is a first step in the right direction.
I think CF Git bot, we can probably remove from even write access. That we don't even use that as a bot. It's just an old tool that used to link GitHub to Tracker to help automatically create Tracker stories. It doesn't do anything in our automation.
Then we should file a PR to remove it from the charter of the working group, because that's where this is maintained. And then I guess, we really should remove here these users. I mean, if we do it now, it might happen that then we cannot release anymore. So maybe we do it in a after a release or something like that, or once we have solved the branch protection issues we are currently fighting with.
Okay, good. Okay, then we'll plan to clean up the bot mess as good as possible. Branch protection rules. So we merged in the PR for the branch protection on 2 days ago. Of course, several things went wrong. So we excluded a few repositories from the protection. So this is the current state. There are no credentials in here, right?
There are no credentials.
So these 3 technical repositories had to be excluded because they're used for maintaining logs and versions and bubble states. Of course, branch protection doesn't make sense. And now we still had the problem that pushing to Git repositories with deploy keys did not work. And this is quite heavily used. So what we saw was something like this here. Update stem cell where this one, the first one who failed. Yeah, here, this is then what you get. Push to main is prohibited. Yeah. So what's working is the following. So we have branch protection rules. So we have for the main branch and for the default branch, which is develop here, not for release candidate. So for main, for example, we have now require pull request, require approval, and. And yeah, so what if do not allow bypassing the above settings is checked, this is checked by the branch protection rules, then you cannot push with a deploy key. But if you uncheck this manually for now, then pushing with a deploy key is possible. So that's what we would need to adapt in the branch protection rules. And yeah, so I already removed this several times now. We also need to remove this from develop because a lot of things are automatically pushed to the develop branch and then the automation is working. Question was, why did we start to use deploy keys at all? Does anyone remember of you? Just because it's more convenient or?
Yeah, I think so. I think this even predates my time on the team. But yeah, I assume that it was considered best practice at the time compared to using a bot.
This is fine. You can have deploy keys per repository and nothing wrong with that.
The problem is
it was like a security thing of least privilege. You can have one per repo, and that way, if you need to rotate one, you can without affecting the others, as opposed to having a bot that has access to a lot of repos and doing it that way. But yeah,
you have more fine granular permissions with that.
The disadvantage is that you cannot add deploy keys to these exception lists like we can do for bots. So these are there are pros and cons. Yeah, I mean we can add to just continue. We can have a special configuration for CF deployment. That's no problem, and then remove this admin access. That can be done. That is probably the fastest solution to get the pipeline working again with branch protection. As a consequence, all admin users. That means basically the TOC and Jochen have no branch protection. They can commit directly.
Yes, that would be the disadvantage.
Then we can. I can also open a ticket here and discuss that in the TOC how what we would like to recommend to the projects, either using bots and then benefit from a, let's say, better branch protection, or recommending these deploy keys for certain use cases, and then you have maybe if that is more secure. I don't know the disadvantages here, and you can but then you cannot have branch protection for admins. That's the options that are on the table.
Presumably the alternative is if you use a bot, you can add a bot to the section that's just off the top of the screen there that says
exactly. Yeah, and that's done automatically.
And that can be done automatically through the rules. Yeah,
it is done automatically already.
I would need to reconfigure all the pipelines with
at the end of the day, we have the bots. So from security point of view, we do not win if we use deploy keys, right? We just have one more complexity. So maybe that's the easiest thing, to use simply one bot, and that's it.
That works. I'm fine with that. I know a lot of other repositories that already have branch protection rules that are not automatically applied within Cloud Foundry use that approach. I've never seen deployed keys in Cloud Foundry except for CFD. Plus, one like nice little benefit is that sometimes I get alerts saying like the person who created the key, like Chang Drew is I think their username.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get an alert that's like Chang Drew, like got a release of CFD, and I'm like, why? It's because he made the deploy key.
Wow, in 2019, which is who knows?
Yeah,
so,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, then the idea would be to replace the deploy key via a bot user and continue this route.
And then it's up, it's open whether you want to use a single bot user or one per repo.
That can be done. I mean, one per from the automation point of view, it only makes sense if you have multiple areas, because you can have a bot team per working group area. Otherwise, you have 5 users, but all the 5 users have the same rights in one because they're managed in one team. But it's possible to split up the working group into multiple areas. That's not done in application runtime deployments because the number of repos is not that big.
Right.
But
and we're all dealing with all of them, so it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. So at the moment, I would say one bot and let's get it running with that, and then if we see a real use case to separate some rights, then we can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have one bot with one access push token. Which does it have to expire or something? The token.
I mean, it's the same here, 2019. That's all what I read, right? No further questions.
This never expire.
You can, of course, we can rotate then also the access tokens for the spot user. That would be possible, but yeah.
Okay, good. I guess it makes sense. So one new bot user with proper access rights and proper configuration and email to everyone. Okay, good. It's a little bit of effort, but then we should have really cleaned up things. Okay, good. Okay, let's move onward. UEA client CF. I have not checked this issue. Discussing, is there anything?
Okay, yeah, I remember actually the PR, I have opened the PR for the documentation and that got merged out of a sudden.
Okay, so now it's...
I could imagine it got merged by, just because there's a PR in the documentation and somebody just pressed the merge button without further discussing it. But I also, I put that on the discussion in the CLI and nobody complained, let's say it like this. So. From my point of view, this thing is now solved. I discussed it in Kapi Open Office Hour, and I discussed it last time here in the working in this runtime deployments working group meeting, and we said we don't see any reasons not to document this CF client.
Well, okay, so it's documented. It's now sort of API, and okay, there's nothing for us to do.
No, I would say this is done.
Good. So then our FS4 topic. Yes, okay, step 1. So we will hopefully shortly begin with that one. That is, we at SAP, we have planned this in our sprint. So make FS4 the default stack. We now have all build packs for FS4 available. Yes, we will provide FS3 ops file for those who like to change back. Okay. Yeah, so no problems here, except for the latest FS4 release. I will come to that in a moment. We will adapt the validation so that, yes, everything is tested. Everything that runs here, all the cats tests will run with FS4. And for a short time here in the bionic stem cell, we can run the cats with FS3. Okay, so no problem here. Carsten, you migrated Concourse task to Go 120.
Yep, I sent out that CF dev mailing list blast. No one said anything. I waited a week and then merged the PR and the bump to Go 120. So it broke one or two things. Like Uptimer was starting to complain. There was something weird in Uptimer that was like 120 specific. I forget. It didn't like it, so I fixed that. Everything else has been relatively solid. I haven't noticed any other issues.
Okay, good. Fine. Should kill bionic stem cell. Yeah, okay, we know that. Good. So then let's check my cheat sheet. We have the bot accounts. Yeah, then let's come to a more interesting or challenging topic. So this is the latest, or now the official FS4 release, and it comes with a few breaking changes. So they remove Ruby and Python from the stack. The Python is only really removed with 1.1 because they forgot something. And now we see that a lot of our tests fail. No. So these are the Cloud Foundry acceptance tests running on FS4. And now, since this 1.1 release, 5 build pack detection tests are failing. And all of them because Ruby or ERB is not found anymore on the stems on the stack. So now for the Java build pack, we may have to wait for the next minor version 4.55, and then they promise it should work again. PHP build pack should actually work. So it says here 4.6.0 is supposed to work. I wanted to test it manually, but the deployment has not finished. So here we'll have to check again. And then we still have our binary acceptance tests, which indeed uses, let me just get the right asset, binary. So the binary test app uses Ruby. I guess yeah, we'll have to adapt the test app, right?
I mean, maybe we go one step back because we are now see here trouble, and it was caused by an incompatible change of the already released and published CF Linux FS4. So I would ask first, do we have somewhere a ticket or a requirement that shows us why this was removed? Because actually, I mean, if we roll this out and a customer application relies for whatever reason, I mean, it's strange reasons, but still on the Ruby or Python runtime being available, those apps will crash during the CF update and without pre-announcement, without any change. And that's that's no fun. Honestly, I tend to ask to not consume this stack version and to revert it. And it can be done then with CF Linux FS5 maybe the next time. But then please from the beginning and not just to give you an idea, we are currently rolling out the migration from FS3 to FS4, and that causes, you can imagine, a lot of trouble. And now we come with an incompatible change within 4. People will love us. This is actually a no-go, I would say.
Yeah.
So I would put that at least on the into the TOC, and I would not consume this version before this is not clarified. And
yeah,
we would need
okay,
somehow public communication about this fact. I mean, maybe there are reasons that I don't know. That's all good from security point of view. It's probably a good idea to remove those 2 runtimes and keep it as slim as possible. That I don't want to question that, but I think the point in time where it is done is too late.
Yeah, it's
okay.
yeah.
We see here now the versions 0.74 and now it's 1.0. One could argue this is it's the 1.0 version. Yeah, why not? But
which working group owns this?
The Linux FS4 release, it's the application runtime interfaces working group.
Okay.
So Greg.
Oh, Greg. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I have not found a ticket where this is being discussed. So yeah, what would be the best place to open one?
Let's open one ticket here on CF Linux FS4 release and then discuss it and find it out.
Okay, good. Then I will open a ticket here describing the problems and post that in their Slack channel. And then I will have to wait for an answer. This is already automatically consumed by the CF deployment automation. We could, of course, go back to the latest working version before we start to change anything on our side. Yeah, I don't know if they're willing to revert this change.
Let's see what comes as at least then we have a ticket, we can reference it, and if it's necessary to roll it out for whatever reason, yeah.
Yeah.
The argumentation from the runtime group could be it was a 0.74 version before and now it's a 1.0. That's right. And then it's actually, yeah, such incompatible changes are still okay. And this 1.00 and 1.10 version, I mean, yeah, that was basically a bug, right? And due to the release process.
Yeah, that was a bug, yes. Okay, so, but assuming they would not want to revert it, so then what? Then we have likely, I don't know, okay, 1 or 2 of our tests. You could argue that it's tests like these, which assume that we have Ruby in place.
You want to use a different test app, right? You need to use some, I don't know, the static build pack or whatever for this test.
Yeah.
Static build pack, I can see. The PHP and Java sounds like they should be fixed.
Yes.
The one that surprises me is Ruby. I don't know why that's failing because that should be using the Ruby build pack. So I'm
they're also using, assuming that Ruby is there without installing it, I guess.
But again, I would simply then open bugs on those build packs because they are all in the same working group and actually all in the same working group area. And yeah, needs to be fixed before we can release this piece.
Yeah, we can't release it that way. Yes. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, then I will open the ticket and push Greg a little bit and ask for a clarification how they want to proceed here. Yeah. Yeah, this is really a bit surprising. I have no idea why they do this right now. and not earlier. And I have absolutely no idea how many people rely on the Ruby or ERB executable for whatever purpose. So could break a lot of things, not only during the build, but if there's something provided on the stack, then people will start using it. Okay, good, but we first need a statement how they want to proceed and if they will revert or not. Okay. Yeah, good. Apart from that, the last releases were, I think, not so spectacular. So this one is no, Saha. Yeah, right. I still need a review an approval for this repair. Default branch is made. Okay, then
it looks like there's a CLA issue for that as well.
Yeah.
Sorry?
There's a CLA issue.
Yes, there is a CLA issue. So just to clarify what I did here, the update stem cell miner build failed because it couldn't push to main. And what's also missing is the release on GitHub. I did this manually. That was no problem. Fixing the deployment version in the Samware project, I also fixed manually. And now what's missing is the merge back from main to develop so that we have the updated manifest version and the updated stem cell version on the develop branch. Without that, we couldn't do the next release. And this is what I did here. So I just merged from main to a new branch, and this should now be merged into develop so that we have the 3 automatically created commits on develop. But of course, those have been created by the bot with a deploy key. And yeah.
The deploy key didn't sign the CLA.
No, did not. Yeah, but okay, this is, yeah, I mean, we have to fix this manually. There's no other way. Otherwise, Git will complain when you.
I think you can overwrite it, right? Maybe a comment with the CLA. What
anyone
happened,
wants to review? If not, I just override it.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's just overwrite it. Yeah, it's probably the ugliest PR ever done, but okay. Good.
Did you already push the commits onto main as well?
They are on main. They are on main because I pushed, I started the job again. And it failed. No, okay, this one failed in the beginning. So I started the job again. And it pushed the commits on main, but not the tag because it already existed.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. So I think we should now be in a consistent state again. The release is here.
One weird thing though. Looking at the did you make it looks like the release, the GitHub release is tied to a commit that's not actually on main. So the release is tied to a commit that is untethered. Probably because the tag is still tied to the old commit, I would guess. The one that was never pushed to main. Yeah. I think that both the tag and the release are tied to the old commit that failed rather than the new commit that succeeded.
Tag is to one.
Yeah. If you click on that commit, Shah, there's a error at the top that's like does not belong to any branch.
Yeah.
So you may want to, I don't know if that's possible or a good idea, but
We should
maybe
put,
we
if this
should.
commit exists on main with a different char, we should point the tag
Yeah.
at that instead.
That's what I'm thinking.
So fix the tag. This should not be nice, but should be possible.
Yeah, force push on attack, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's everywhere written, do not do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Git gods will
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, it's only an issue if you have cloned the repository and you have fetched this tag already, then you won't get it again and you have the wrong commit in your, I think this was the background.
Yeah, of course, this is not how you should use Git, but okay, I don't see a better way. Yeah, could create a create a dummy release with the next changes and tell people not to use this. Is that better? But it's already. I will. Okay, I think I forgot to announce it on CF deployment.
I think to create a dummy release, we probably need, if you want to use the pipeline, then we need that merge to run through develop into release candidate, right? And then we could just cut a minor that's like use this one instead.
We now need to wait until the PR I just
right. I would say let's force push the text, and it is correct.
Okay.
And if somebody complains, we can say, sorry, we had to do something due to broken whatever.
Yeah.
Because then it's at least the repository is in a consistent state, and if somebody fetches this release and uses this.
Well, okay, if someone was very quick and consumed it right now, and
I mean, was not even announced. Okay, you can you find it of course in the. I don't look at release notes. I usually look at the releases.
If somebody's already consumed it, that commit still is going to exist, so they should be fine. It's just, it's not like we're changing the contents of the release. We're just moving it to the correct.
Right. Yeah.
Content did not change. Yeah, that's true.
Right. So I think that would be fine for people that have.
Right.
Okay.
If we would have consumed it, we do it via a submodule, and that would work. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So. Then that should be fixed. However, with the current branch protection rules, if they enable this, do not allow bypass again, and a new stem cell comes in, we have the same problem again.
Okay, so then I would suggest that we open the PR to now disable this admin access.
Yes.
And once we have this bot user, alternative would be that we change now to one of the existing bot users.
Use the existing bot users, but then I would need an access token.
Isn't it in one of the things? Don't we have the bot user stuff in CredHub already?
Not everything, not necessarily a working push token.
Okay. What do we use the bots for if we're not using it to push stuff?
So here's, I think we only use them for creating GitHub releases, and for that you do not need an access token.
What?
Don't we use them for like the pool repo and that sort of thing, or is that those all deploy keys?
This is all with the deployment.
Deploy keys, I see.
So
So they're used for commits, but then the actual push access is from the deploy key.
yes.
Interesting. How hard would it be to set up the new bot account and just start using that?
Yeah, and you could always put it on your email right now, Johan, and then once we sort out what the emails are supposed to be, we can move it, switch the ownership to the new email.
Yes. Yeah, would be really better. Okay, so then I try to start creating a new Git bot for everything with one of the existing emails.
Yeah. So once the account's created and CI is ready to be updated, we also need to add it to the list of bots in or yeah, once it's created, we need to add it to the list of bots.
Yeah. So that is
and then we can also remove the others. That would be possible. If you need here a +1 because it's a community repo, you would need to ask then Behan, because I'm out of office Friday and Monday if it's urgent.
Yes. Okay, so adding it to the bot list should then be easy. This is already automated and working. Okay, good. Yeah, but what we can simply do is we just pause this.
Right, yeah, that is a good idea.
And that this does not happen again, then we don't have, yeah, well, okay, we would get, yeah, okay, would have to check that we don't miss any important minor stem cell updates.
But I think getting this fixed and working correctly so that the CI can do its job without us having to work around it is a better solution overall.
Yeah. Yeah. There were also a few failed update, space release, build pack release jobs, but those could be fixed. That did not cause a problem. So here retriggering worked.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Good. Yeah. So I should have enough to do for the next days. So, any other business?
No.
No, I think we're good.
I have nothing else. No.
Nothing else. Good. Yeah, well, okay. There's also nothing more from my side.
And this is one of the quirks where the next meeting is actually 3 weeks. Is that right?
So we have then, where are we?
Because there's 5 Thursdays this month.
6. Oh yes, it's April the 13th. This would be our next meeting. Yes, yeah. Well.
Something goes terribly wrong with the bots or branch protection or you have Linux FS4, then we can sync on Slack and have also an ad hoc meeting if necessary. No problem.
Yeah,
sounds good.
I got my enterprise Zoom license back, so yeah.
Oh wow.
Hard struggle, but they gave it back. Yeah, good. Yeah, anything else, Dave?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, good. Then thanks for attending.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a nice day or a nice evening.
Yep, you too.
And see you soon again. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.